What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? This is Stay Your Blade here. We are having another podcast. We are going to be checking out FerretBomb. He is a partnered Twitch streamer, and he is a pretty amazing dude. I've been watching him probably since I started on Twitch, so throw it to Ferret.
Hey, yeah, like you said, I'm FerretBomb. Nice to meet y'all. Yeah.
So, tell the audience a little bit about yourself so they can kind of get a background on you, as much as you can reveal about yourself.
Oh, cool. No worries. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm FerretBomb. I've been on Twitch for, how many years has it been now? Coming up on 5, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's about 5 years that I was researching. That's the farthest back I could find. It was like, I want to say it was 2013 or 2012.
Yep, that's whenever I started the actual full-time, regular casting schedule. June 6th, 2013. So yeah,
very nice.
But
I was gonna say, what starting off, what actually got you into Twitch streaming? Was it you just wanted to show people what you were doing, or was it like you had heard about it from someone?
Well, I'd been on Twitch for a while. I actually was on Justin TV before it became Twitch.
Okay.
But I was mostly on the viewer side. I did some, for fun cast, just, stuff to show friends, all this, that, and the other. What really brought it down to I want to do this seriously was that I was watching Lethal Frag.
Okay.
For during his 2-year live stream challenge, and I realized that I really wanted to be doing taking a more active role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being a viewer is awesome. It lets you do other stuff, and but I was sitting there and I was watching people playing games, and it was like, but I'd really like to be playing a game right now. I wonder if I could do this too.
So when you started off, were you just playing for friends, or were you playing mostly for like people that that you didn't know?
Well, I mean, during the early days, you're going to be casting for friends whenever they have time, whenever they can stop in. It really depends on if you're talking about whenever you're first getting into streaming, like whenever you're just trying it out, dipping your toes in the water, or whenever you're starting to do it as a serious thing. Because your friends aren't going to be there all the time if you're trying to do it seriously.
Right. What was your like first big break? What game gave you your first big break? Because I know that you're playing. I think the first one that I saw video wise, you were playing Fez. I think that's the farthest back I could find.
Yeah, I think I still have a couple of clips of that. Whenever my gear was not the best, my audio was barely there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I ended up just getting in and just messing around with Fez. That was before I started doing it regularly.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, no, Fez was a lot of fun. I still want to go back and play that again. I know that there's people still looking for more completion to go on with that game, because it's got a whole lot of depth to it and a whole lot of hidden stuff from the creator Phil Fish.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never actually got a chance to play that game. I did watch they had the big documentary on that, plus like Super Meat Boy and all that stuff, and I really like the concept of the game, but I've never had a chance to actually play it. Did you enjoy playing that game, by the way?
Oh yes, no. That's one reason that I want to play it again.
Yeah,
is I've forgotten it at this point. I'm sure that some of it will come back to me, but it is a really, really good play. How they actually use 2D versus 3D in the game is really, really neat. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of my games that I really. It's on my short replay list. I don't tend to come back to games all that often.
Yeah.
So,
with your name FerretBomb, what actually got that name? Like, what made you create your name as FerretBomb?
Well, I got to throw it back to Lethal Frag again.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, he had one ferret. He had Rosie, and ferrets tend to sleep a lot. So, I figured he needed a temporary ferret in chat to troll him a little bit while she was taking a nap.
I like it.
So I needed a ferret name.
Yeah.
People throw F-bombs. FerretBomb. It's stuck. Nobody else was using it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Very nice. So with that, we had talked about a little bit about your kind of anonymity about your name and your actual name. Is there a reason behind everything? Is there did you have an experience, or did you know someone that had an experience? Is that why you don't talk about your actual name on stream?
Yes, it more comes down to a risk thing.
Mm-hmm.
I segment my personal life from my streaming life very religiously, almost.
Yeah.
Because it is so easy to find someone.
Oh yeah.
From their real name. You take your real name, a general location, drop it into a high school friend finder, pay them $2.50, and they spit out an address. They spit out a phone number.
Yeah.
So having FerretBomb and having none of the rest of that really known gives me a layer of protection, especially with all the swatting that tends to be going on. Even though they're cracking down on it a little bit more heavily,
absolutely,
it's one of those risks that you just don't want to take. It always weighs on your mind.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't find me, if they found one of my old addresses, if they found my mom's address,
oh yeah,
there would just be so much guilt there.
Yeah.
So again, I say it on stream, 99.99999% of people, I'll be fine with knowing my name.
Yeah.
But there's that 0.0001% person that would use it for bad stuff.
Oh yeah.
That I got to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. And with how I kind of run my stream is, I mean, people know my real name, but they only know my first name. So I keep it at that. The people that are my friends, I tell them there's personal things about me that I just keep on the down low. I keep, my personal life, my family life, everything like that is off the books. And for the most part, the only people that they ever see on stream are my brother. And that's fine. And for the most part, I've kept my personal life off stream, and it's worked for the past 3 years of me being on Twitch. Now, with that whole thing of your anonymity, have you ever had anyone come up to you on the street at all, or have you been pretty good about that?
No one's recognized me yet.
Yeah.
I think my local GameStop guys, they're starting to cotton on a little bit, but just at random, no.
Yeah.
The U.S. is too big of a place for that. The world is too big of a place for that to happen.
No, yeah.
So,
have you ever considered going to TwitchCon, or have you gone to TwitchCon at all?
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to go to TwitchCon. My day job is kind of it's kind of a two-edged sword, because it actually pays really well. It's really, really beneficial in so many ways, but at the same time, it eats up so much of my life. It makes so many demands.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that my casting schedule is kind of all over the place, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go to TwitchCon is the short version, but they won't let me go. They won't let me take the time off work a lot of the time, even though they should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for the longest time, I think when I first started watching you, your streams were super late at night to super early in the morning, I think. And I was getting off of work, and that was why I was able to watch you. I was able to watch maybe an hour or so, and then I would pass out, and then I'd wake up the next morning, and you'd be off, but I'd be able to rewatch your streams and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of agree with you with the whole work schedule thing. That does, it eats up a lot of time. And it becomes one of those things that it's, yes, it pays your bills, but then it's oh crap, I can't stream, Now, I came across a video that I wanted to discuss with you because I thought it was pretty funny. And it was one of your videos that you had put on YouTube. It was.
Did I worry?
It was your video of, that you were playing Truck Simulator, and and your OBS went live.
What the fuck? Oh no! Do not crash. So I'm live then. Hi.
Okay. People, I was reading the chat and people were like, "Oh, he's trolling. He's trolling." Were you trolling, or you actually, you didn't know it at all?
No, I didn't actually know at all. My ISP died earlier that day.
Yeah.
And I figured, I've already got everything turned on and set up and ready to go. I just got a new microphone, Shure SM35. I figured I'll plug it in, I'll test it, I'll do some test recording while, it's still going, so whatever. And then I didn't realize that it was still trying to reconnect in the background, because normally it pops up a little window and it says reconnecting ... 5 4 3, and then it just keeps going and doing that. It stopped doing that.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just done.
Yeah.
I figured it was just, me goofing around and checking the mic audio levels and making sure that it would be okay for an upcoming cast.
Yeah.
And then it reconnected.
Yeah. That was by far the best reaction I've ever seen. Because not only were you trying to play, and then all of a sudden your notification went off, and you almost crashed your truck. You're like, "Oh, hold on, I gotta park the truck," and you're like, "Wait a minute, am I on?" And that was I probably laughed about 30 seconds. That was the best thing. I was sitting here laughing. I'm like, I had to talk to him about this. This is great.
Yeah.
Now
the real kick in the pants was that it was also apparently on the front page at that point.
Oh, man.
It was just like layer on top of layer on top of layer. So it was fun.
Like, what's up front page? How you guys doing?
Hi, everybody.
Hi guys. What's up? Yeah. So, as long as I've known you, you've had just talked about your notification, Fluffy. What started that? Was that always around, or was that something that just came to be one day?
Fluffy came to be because I was doing a horror month for October.
Okay.
And I was doing blackout streams. I would turn off all of my studio lights. I would turn off all the other monitors that I use, so I couldn't see chat. The house lights were off. I had an infrared camera, and it's a super suspenseful game, Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah.
But there aren't any jump scares.
Yeah.
So I figured that I would change the sub notification to something that would let people sneak up and just go boo.
Yeah.
And had a really positive impact. People really loved it, and she kind of stuck around, and I didn't change it away. So it kind of became a regular thing, and now people would be disappointed if I get rid of her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, as I said, as long as I've known you, Fluffy's always been a thing, and I really enjoy that kind of thing. It makes it a stream kind of special. It's like you said, people would be upset if Fluffy ever went away. Have you ever what do you remember what your notification was before that, or was it just something random?
Oh, I think I've still got the sound file around here. It was essentially a rising trill sound effect. It was nothing special. Though whenever Darkest Dungeon did their big release thing, they did, I can't remember what they called it. Essentially, they recorded a bunch of sub notifiers for a bunch of channels that were playing.
Okay.
And that was mine was one of them. Wayne June sent over an audio alert, and yeah. So we were using that whenever I was just playing Darkest Dungeon a little bit earlier, like last month. So,
that's probably one of my favorite games too.
So good.
Have you been playing it since it started?
Off and on. I didn't really. I took a long break, so I didn't get into the Blood Moon or what is it, Shieldbreaker stuff. But yeah, no, I've come back to it. I've been playing more of it, and I would love to play more of it, but I've got so many games on the back burner due to, unfortunately, having to take a 11-month hiatus there for most of last year.
Yeah. What? And it definitely it's nice. I've had to take a couple of those, not 11 months, but month or two at a time, just to kind of recharge myself and whatnot. Is it when you came back? Was it refreshing? Was it something that you had to put the training wheels back on, or did you jump right back into it?
I will say that there was definitely a de-rusting period, but coming back, it's a really difficult sensation to describe.
Okay.
Imagine that you were drowning for long enough that you forgot that you needed air.
Okay.
And then you get to take a breath. And that's what it was. It was that ridiculous rush. I mean, I'm already getting goosebumps again just thinking about it. So literally.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think with me, I think it's 3 months is probably the longest I've ever done. I don't know if I could do 11 months and come back. That would drive me crazy. Now, when you came back, was your audience like gung ho ready to go, or were they kind of like, oh hey, what's up, man? Like didn't realize you'd come.
There were a lot of people that were really, really happy to see the channel come back.
That's awesome.
And yeah, no, it was just so nice to actually see all of the faces that I hadn't. Well, okay, the names, I guess, that I hadn't for so freaking long.
Yeah.
And see everybody there again.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like a family.
Exactly.
So through Twitch and whatnot, have you been able to meet anyone that you've like streamed with, or have you met anyone outside of Twitch that you've interacted with on the through the channel?
I'm not sure about the question there. I mean, I've made a lot of new friends through Twitch.
Yeah.
Other streamers, other people in chat, the core community. But if you're talking about like going to lunch with somebody and out in real world space, not so much. No,
not so much.
No, everybody's spaced all over the place due to being a late night caster.
Yeah.
A lot of the viewers come from Europe and very different time zones.
Okay.
that tend to be pretty far away.
Okay, I got you there. So I wanted to ask you this because I've been trying to do this, and this is kind of a technical thing, but so both you and I have green screens, and I wanted to ask you, how do you get such a clean green screen? Because I have been attempting to do it, and for me it's such a pain in the ass to try to get a clean green screen. What's your secret on that?
Well, I mean, you can see my screen right now.
Yeah.
It's actually not in the best condition. I guess play with it is the best example that I can give. I think that my key color is actually right about here.
Okay.
It's one of these mid-tones that's not the dark sections. I can do this. I do this on camera regularly. It's not one of the dark tones like this, and it's not one of the super light tones like here or up over here. You try to find something that's right in the middle, and then it makes getting the difference a lot easier.
Okay.
You don't have to use as much spill reduction or what's the other one? Similarity. Yeah. Similarity. It's a handy tool, but if you overuse it, you start losing hair.
Oh yeah, yeah. And with me, I have to actually diffuse my two front lights, because they're so bright. What happens is if I start to do similarity, it actually makes it look like I have a line on top of my forehead, which is, that just happens because I have a greasy forehead, But other than that, like I have to, I notice, people try not to wear, of course, green shirts, but like even blue shirts, they'll start to eat away if you do too much similarity. So I wear a lot of black. That's like the only thing I can wear on stream, basically. But yeah, I always like to watch people's streams and go, okay, how do they do that? How do they do all of that? Now, when you started, did you know how to do this stuff? Did you know how to do like the green screening and stuff like that? Or did you had to look all that stuff up?
Oh, no, I didn't know any of this. I mean, I had some basic grasps on, okay, this is how it's supposed to work. But the actual in-depth stuff, not at all. No, I had to learn as I went. And back then there really weren't any resources. I mean, at this point, there's a lot more information out there.
Absolutely, yeah. And
the challenge becomes not so much finding out what you need to know as much as discounting the bad information.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bad information out there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying with the diffusers though. Yeah, my studio lights, I've got a giant freaking diffuser over on my right here, and a little, Home Depot bowl work light on the left that I just bounce off the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it tends to be pretty good, but avoiding hot spots and avoiding low spots is really, really tough.
Yeah.
Lighting is almost an art. Well, it is an art in and of itself. And same thing with the green screen, keeping it as far back as you can.
Yeah.
One of the things that I need to do, I need to get my steamer out again, because you can see all these wrinkles and whatnot. That's one of the best things that you can do if you have a muslin backdrop. Buy a cheap $20 garment steamer.
Okay.
Go over it, get all the wrinkles out. It'll look 1,000 times better.
Okay. All right. And any other like quick tips that you could kind of throw out there for people that don't really know how to, I don't know, start streaming basically? Because there's a lot of little quick tips that I have that, I feel like everyone should kind of know, like the green screen, like you said, steam your green screen. Is there any other cool quick tips that you could give out?
Oh, so many. I actually have a section on my website devoted purely to live streaming, live streaming boot camp.
Okay.
Is what I call it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Number one that you gotta do. Nobody wants to do it, but set a schedule. Stick to it.
Yeah.
If people know when you're going to be there, they'll be able to come back.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to do that. I have seen how not doing that can hurt a channel's growth. And like you were saying, whenever you started watching, I was there on the stroke of, well, my time, midnight.
Yeah.
Just about every night. And the channel was just growing and growing and growing because people knew when I was going to be there. They knew that I would be back. They knew that I was actually going to, not be starting 6 hours late like I have lately, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about your headphones, because originally I saw that you had big, like these like big earmuff headphones, and then you've slowly progressed to what you have now. What headphones are you using currently?
Well, these are KZ ATEs. Actually, I should probably do that for the camera. These are little in-ear monitors. Think of them like earbuds on crack.
Okay.
The cool part is these things have about as much bass as a full-size set of studio cans.
Okay.
It will shake my head, and they're only $12.
Ooh,
they are super, super, super freaking cheap. I need to buy extras just so that I have backups, because I've been told that these do occasionally go out.
Yeah.
But these have been just winners.
Yeah.
The ones that I started out with were, I believe, Everglide S500s, and they were just a set of studio cans that I picked up because I actually did work in a mixing studio for a little while.
Okay.
And the ones that after that, I really wasn't wearing anything. I was using, I was using these, my Logitech H110 backup headset, which is still around, and it's crappy. It looks terrible, but it works.
Yeah.
And then, I had my little microphone. Get a head-mounted mic if you can. That's another very important one because it keeps you from wandering away from the mic and sounding weird and, just all sorts of unpleasantness, if possible. Plus, it lets you actually not need to wear headphones at all. You can just use speakers because it's so close to your mouth. You can just turn the gain down and it'll be fine.
Yeah, and I've been toying with the idea of getting rid of my actual mic because I have a Blue Yeti, the Snowball mic. It's not bad. It's not the best mic in the world, but then there's also the same respect. I like the idea of having like a studio setup, and this is like in my mind a studio setup. So like I get the the boom arm mic and all that stuff, and it's just different different strokes for different folks. Like I like your headphones. I might even change over to that kind of style, because this style definitely it wears on you. Like I'll take off my headphones after a 6-hour stream, and my head feels like it's been compressed in a vice grip, which is unbearable.
And those look like Audio-Technica AT50X, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. Good eye on that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about buying exactly that setup. In fact, but yeah, these came along. They are the reason that I picked these up and gave them a shot was because they were super cheap. I've never had earbuds that actually worked okay. Do be aware that these do require a training period.
Okay.
You're not going to get used to wearing something that seals into your ear overnight.
Oh yeah.
Plus, it blocks out everything. If somebody's knocking on my door, I can't hear it.
Yeah.
It just does not come through.
I use that kind of headphones for like working out stuff. So I can kind of understand, but I would understand also trying to get something that seals off everything, because it definitely helps. But at the same time, I feel like I'm yelling when I do that kind of stuff. Do you use something to actually monitor your audio in your own ears, or is it just you just kind of know how loud you can be?
Oh well, I'm running all of my audio through my mixer,
Okay.
including preview audio from my microphone. And yeah, you were talking about having a microphone arm. This is actually on an arm. It's a shotgun mic, a Rode NTG3.
Okay.
It's pretty decent, but at the same time, it's not really. The problem is a lot of people use condenser mics, which are stuff like the AT2020, the Snowball, the Yeti, and they're not really meant for a casting kind of a setup.
Yeah.
They're more meant for whenever you have an actual studio, an acoustically controlled studio with bass traps and high capture foam. And whenever you're talking directly into a monitor, in fact, I'm pretty sure you can hear some of this. I've got a lot of rumble. I've got a lot of low end slap in my audio that I can't get rid of because I'm using this thing. And it's one of the curses. Also, whenever you're using one of those large mics, again, I've got a AT2020 on the shelf that I was looking at using for a while. I just couldn't get the sound out of it that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because you literally need to have it about 3 inches from your mouth to get optimal audio. And I don't like having a large mic on cast. It's not my style.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good to me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and it's like you said, and you know, like I said, it's different folks. You know,
yep,
people
exactly.
like different styles, and I can appreciate people that have a very clean style where it's almost like you don't notice anything that's technical on screen, and then there's some people that literally will put the boom arm like right in shot so that you can see everything. You know, and you know, I tend to try to keep it out of focus so that no one can see it, but it's pointed right at my face, so at any time people could hear it perfectly fine. I'm also starting to use a lavalier mic. For 12, or was it, I want to say it was $19 for this mic, and it works so phenomenally. I've been using it nonstop for all my podcasts, and it's doing a great job to actually like get good audio. I just have to be careful not to like touch my clothes too much and like ruffle my clothes too much, because that's my big thing. And like I have a decent beard, so you know my beard will scrape it, and then you'll just hear my beard on audio, and it's like yeah. So I wear hoodies where it, you know, pulls it down just a little bit, and it works perfectly fine. So when you started off, what was the biggest hurdle that you had to jump over for streaming?
Oh man, I don't honestly remember. It's been too long. Again, the biggest hurdle was actually I would say getting onto a schedule and sticking to it. It's something that nobody wants to do. There's also I guess there's also the 0 viewer day where you have to learn to talk into the void. You have to learn to talk to nothing, to ramble. Yeah. And that's a skill too. It's actually a very valuable skill that I still use and that I developed during those 0 viewer days. Yeah. It's the best time to pick it up, because sometimes you're playing a game. You can't look away. You can't read chat. You can't interact with people. You got to be able to fill dead air. Yeah. If you're just letting the game audio go through, it tends to not be as engaging. It isn't as fun. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, and that even goes back to you know, your one video that we had just talked about. You know, even during that video, you were still talking. But you were talking to yourself. You know, you were starting to sing "We Got a Big Old Convoy," and then you're like, "Do I know the lyrics to that song?" And then I should learn the lyrics to that song before next cast. And then you were just talking to yourself, but you were, you know, and to me, I'm like that. You know, that right there, exactly what you were just saying, talking to the void, and you didn't know you were on stream, but at the same time, it becomes natural, you know?
It does.
So, when you were starting off, I noticed that you didn't have as many hats as you have now. What is the obsession with the hats? Because I want to know this whole thing.
Well, I try to have a hat for each style of game. Okay. Because it does add a little bit to theming. It's fun. It adds visual interest, and it essentially shows that you're getting to the spirit of things. and it's going to be something that's going to be on camera all the time.
Yeah.
It's something for people to go, oh, that's a neat hat.
Yeah.
And and just roll with it.
I was gonna say you have I've the couple that I did see, you had your Canadian experience hat, which is your long dark hat, and then you have your Mario hat that I definitely seen a couple streams with. So it to me it seems like it's its own character. You become the character, I guess. That's to my what I whenever I watch your streams, that's kind of what I see is you're becoming that character that you're playing, and it becomes very cool. I like that. I like that feature about you, because you're not like oh, I'm just playing a game. You're like, I'm the guy on the screen. I'm actually that guy. So what would you say out of all the games you've played, what's been the best game you've played, and what's been the hardest game you've played?
Oh wow. Well, I don't have one best game. There's a bunch of different things that would qualify it as being best. Like, one of my favorite games just off the top of my head instantly is Bastion.
Okay.
Because the narrator, the story is so good. The art style is great.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got other, stuff like Final Fantasy Tactics, which is a wonderful game. It has its flaws, but it's a very great tactical game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Yeah, there's not just one best. I mean, there's Mafia 2, which has a wonderful story. It's a little bit dated. The driving controls are a little bit wonky, but that's kind of in keeping with the era the game is set in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a single best. Single hardest game. Oh, in and of itself or despite itself would be the next question.
Okay. I would say, in spite of itself.
In spite of itself, Dark Souls.
We're in the same boat on that one. Okay, good.
I would say that it's a great game. It really is. It's a lot of fun, but it gets in its own way a lot of the time. A lot of the controls, a lot of the optimizations aren't really that great.
Yes.
So it makes the game harder, not by inherent virtue of the game itself, but because it's hard to play.
Yeah.
Hardest game just at all, Monster Hunter, which is where Dark Souls came from.
Yeah.
But doing solo hunts against elder dragons it's a rush, man. It's so good, and one of the reasons I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter World coming up in I think a little bit less than a week now. Yeah.
Are you going to be going on a? Are you going to be going? I don't know.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. I was gonna say for Monster Hunter, what are you going to be going on a like long journey with that game? Are you going to be playing that game repeatedly for like the next couple months, or is it you going to be just putting it into the cycle?
Oh no, that is definitely going to become the mainstream game for months upcoming.
Okay.
And then whenever the PC version releases, we're going to do it again.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
I am so hyped for that game.
So are you what system are you playing on?
At release, PS4.
Okay.
I do have an Xbone. It's kind of sitting over there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very nice. I was gonna say, what was it? Oh, the next game I was gonna ask you about is I was gonna ask you, what is one game that you'll never play again? That you're like, I can't pick up the controller for it. I can't, even try to play it.
Oh man, there are a few of those, but I try to avoid negativity because games can always improve.
Yeah.
Unless they're on a console with a cartridge that will never actually be updated.
Right.
A game can always improve. One that I had a very negative experience with was Warframe.
Okay.
Apparently, I came in at a really, really bad time where there used to be a tutorial, but there wasn't anymore, and there were really not all that many new players. So the only people actually playing were the ones that have been around for a really long time.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't. I didn't have a good first impression. I didn't really have a great second impression either. But I'll probably take a look at it again in the future and give it another shot. I'm always hoping that it will improve, that everything will get better.
I gotcha. Yeah, I would say probably the only game that I'm trying not to ever revisit is Dark Souls, and that's because of how I was at the point with Dark Souls that I was literally biting down on my controller, trying not to scream at like 1 a.m. because I was just so frustrated with it. And it was, I beat, and the craziest part about the game is that I played the first level, and then, well, the first, like, just the first boss, or mini boss or whatever, the Minotaur, beat the Minotaur, and I'm like, oh yeah, I beat a boss, and then my chat was like, no, that's a mini boss. I'm like, whoa, what? Hold on, what? And they're like, yeah, that's a mini boss. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I spent like 4 hours trying to beat this mini boss, and you guys didn't tell me it was a mini boss, and they're like, yeah, it's a mini boss. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. That was it. That was the end game of that game for me. Well,
again, it ain't for everybody, and I can't say that that's an uncommon decision.
Yeah.
It is. Again, it's one that I enjoy because I tend to go in for hard games a lot of the time, but I don't know how to phrase it right. Again, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
If it's not your cup of tea, then by all means, there's no reason to play it if you're not having fun.
Oh yeah. Do you play a lot of games with your viewers, or do you usually just play like one-player games?
Nowadays I tend to go for one-player games a lot of the time. I used to play multiplayer like every Saturday and every Sunday if it was our subscriber day.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to bring that back, but essentially, yeah, if it's a multiplayer game, then I will try to play it multiplayer after my first playthrough. If there's like a campaign, I'll usually play that, and then I'll go on and play it with actual stream viewers.
Okay. So I was gonna go back to a little bit of technical stuff. The camera that I use is a Logitech C920. What's your preferred camera of choice?
Oh, I'm looking at a C920 right now.
Yeah.
That was what I was using for the longest time. I've upgraded. I cannot really recommend it unless you're going to try to turn live streaming into a career. Currently, I'm using a Sony A5100 going through a capture card.
Okay.
It's a really nice camera, but it's stupid pricey, and it's not really worth what you get over the C920. The C920 is the gold standard for a reason.
Yeah. Did you see the Razer? I think it's called the Kylo or Rilo. It's Rilo or Kylo or something like that. It's a camera with a actual ring light on it. Have you seen that?
No, I hadn't.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, but it's I don't know. I thought it's about $100. That's the, and I think that's the same price that the 922 is, but the 922 is I've heard bad things about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I will say that the 922 has some positives, it has some negatives.
Yeah.
The positives, it can do background replacement. So if you don't want to bother with a green screen, it doesn't work all that well though.
Really?
The big advantage of the C922 is that they re-enabled 720p at 60 FPS.
Okay.
Which is not available on the C920. It's a firmware change.
Okay.
They could turn it on, but they don't. It drives me nuts. Logitech, please fix your stuff. But yeah, the 920 is where I would go. A ring light, it is kind of nice, but you can get a ring light for like $20.
Absolutely.
And just an LED ring light. Yeah. So I would probably go with that and go with the Logitech C920. Razer, with their non-mouse keyboard stuff, they tend to essentially just co-brand other people's products.
Absolutely.
Like what is it? The Razer Ripsaw.
Yeah.
Is actually just an AverMedia Extreme Cap U3 with a different chassis around it. It's literally the same PCB, the actual same circuit board and components and everything. So yeah, they just changed it on the outside and they're selling it Razer branded.
That's like this. I have the Razer Siren. Bought this thing. It's now I'm gonna say this right now. There's two good things about this microphone. One is that you can take it and you can connect the this to a boom arm. Awesome, fantastic. and you can check your audio on the mic. Great, fantastic, cool. The one thing that I don't like about this mic is when you plug the damn thing in, it automatically will change all your audio settings to the microphone, and then your audio pops like, I don't know, every couple minutes. It'll have one little, like, you'll hear it in the end audio. You won't hear it in your mic, in your headphones, in your monitoring, but you'll hear it and the end part. And I had recorded like 2 videos with this thing, went to go do like the post production stuff, and had to re-record all the audio because of it.
Yeah, some USB modules, some digital audio converter modules, they won't actually have good peak and clip protection.
Yeah.
I was actually dealing with that as well recently, and it drove me insane because I was getting the same thing, and all of my little level meters were going, "You're fine," and it's just like, "Nope, you're clipping like crazy. It sounds terrible."
Yeah.
But yeah, Razer actually tried to send me one of those microphones, and I just said, "Oh."
Well, I think that they had fixed it with their newest one, their newest Siren. It's just like a version 2.0. It's a smaller version, and I would like to see their newest version compared to their old version, the one that I have. But at the same time, I feel like they should have got it right the first time. They should have tested out and saw that problem and said, you should probably fix that, and not just sent it out. And that's an issue with me. And I noticed that a lot of people had the same problem. So it's not like it's just a one-time use kind of thing. It's everyone's having the same problem. But yeah, what would you say is one company that you kind of like stick with? Because you were talking about you've had Shure products, you've had Rode products. What company has been pretty good, like quality for you when it comes to streaming?
Oh, that's a tough question because I tend to use whatever works.
Okay.
I will say that pretty much the only consistents have been my motherboards and CPUs.
Okay.
I go with Asus for my motherboards and Intel for my CPUs.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But everything else, I'm currently using a Rode. I've got Audio Technica stuff over there, Shure stuff up there. I got a DBX 286 for my audio now, Behringer mixing, Elgato, everything. Yeah, it's all over the place.
I remember back when you had your old computer that it started to catch fire. No, it shut down because of something. And I remember that because you were playing, what's the game? You were playing, it was a builder game. I'm trying to think of the name of the game now. It was like a city builder, Cityscapes.
Oh, that was City Skylines.
Yeah, City Sky. There we go. City Skylines. I remember when you were playing that, and then you had to shut off stream because of that. What do you remember? What motherboard that was in that computer, or that build? I guess. Do you remember that at all?
Oh yeah, no, it's actually still together and in the other room. It was a Asus. Oh, I can't remember which exact model it was. A7V, K7V motherboard. But the overheating issue was just because City Skylines is really, really demanding. The CPU was already overclocked, and I was using a Cooler Master 212 Plus, which is an air cooler, and it was already like right on the edge because of the overclocking to make sure that it was able to actually live stream because it's an older system. Yeah. And I was still wanting to continue using it. That just kind of tipped it over the breaking point playing that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember you having issues. You're like, I'm gonna go now. My computer is overheating and it's gonna shut off. Bye. And then I'm like, what happened? And then about 5 minutes later, you came back on. You're like, I'm live again, guys. Yeah, my computer was gonna explode. I'm like, oh, okay.
It ran up to, I think it was 97 centigrade, which is about 3 degrees away from auto shutdown. So not good.
Do you use 2 computers now, or is it just one?
No, I currently am using a single system setup. I'm using a i7 5820K with a pretty aggressive overclock. Okay. Again, but I'm actually using an all-in-one water cooler. I'm probably going to go to an open loop. Okay. And I was thinking about building a Threadripper just as an encoder machine. But I've been helping out other streamers, the other partnered streamers, who did buy those and have been running into all sorts of weird problems.
Now, were you, like we had talked about your audio and your video and all that stuff for streaming, were you pretty good with like building computers and whatnot, or did you have to teach yourself that as well?
Oh no, I've been building systems, and I was actually a network engineer before I moved out here to Kansas City to pick up work. But yeah, no, I've been putting together systems since at least 1992.
Okay,
somewhere in there.
All right.
Yeah,
I was gonna say because I'm only running off of one system. I literally just built a new system. It's nice. I'm using a Ryzen 1600, and it's reliable, and I've never had a problem with it since I built it. So that's good. At least I've heard a lot of people use Intel. I don't. Do you have an opinion? Like I mean, you said you like Intel more. Have you seen people with AMD? All right, I guess.
Well, it's difficult again.
Yeah.
With this one, Intel tends to provide a lot more consistent and high rate performance for real time or critical time production, which live streaming is. But it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
And AMD provides probably 80 to 90% of the performance for half the price. It's really hard to argue that you should pay more than double for about a 10% increase.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ryzen series actually is pretty solid. Just avoid the APUs.
Is there I was gonna say, because for my old system, it was an AMD. It was I actually can't remember the CPU right now, but that system would just take a dump every couple of months. It would just, I would have to completely stop streaming for like a week and just do an overhaul on the computer, take it apart, blow out all the system, put it back together, and it was like, blowing into a game and hoping that it'll turn back on. That was literally how I would do it every couple of months. And that was nerve-wracking.
That kind of instability can really be not fun.
Yeah, that was actually one of the reasons why I had to stop streaming for a long time, for a couple months, because it was just, the computer was not consistent. It would just like I'd be in the middle of the stream, I'd have encoding errors, I would have all this crap go on, I would be dropping frames, I'd be having issues with that. It was just, it was not a fun day. So when you have people start streaming, like, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start streaming, what is usually your first piece of advice to those people that they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start streaming now?
Well, again, schedule is king. Number two, don't get lost chasing numbers.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that will go in and just go, I need to stream at 1080p, or I need to stream at 60 FPS. And there's like, whenever I was getting started, 720p 30 FPS was king. It still is king if you want your channel to grow.
Yeah.
Because it's not about providing perfect quality.
Yeah.
I mean, good quality is fine, but you don't need 60 FPS. It essentially doubles the amount of bit rate that you need for the image to look okay.
Yeah.
Same thing with 1080p. It will really overload a processor if you have something that's not really all that great. If it's a choice between downscaling to 720p or switching over to the NVIDIA encoder or the AMD encoder, hardware encoders don't do great quality.
Yeah.
You want to stick with software if you possibly can.
Yeah. I was gonna say with mine, I think I have it set up so it's 1920 by 1080, and then it's downscaled to 1280 by 720, and I don't have too many issues. I would say drop frames. Drop frames is not too horrible, but yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that if you try to put out like this, I'm gonna put out a 4K, then people can't watch it. you know, and people that watch on their phones, it just stutters for them constantly. Or people that don't have the most fantastic internet, you know, then they have issues and they're like, I can't watch you. Sorry, bye. You know.
Oh yeah, and it's even worse because a lot of the time you'll just get into an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Because the only people that'll stick around are the ones that can actually watch if you're running at this way too high rate.
Yeah.
And the people who can't, they generally won't say anything. They won't say I'm buffering, I gotta go.
Yeah.
They'll just leave.
Yeah.
And so you only ever hear back, no, you're good, no, you're good, no, you're good. And you don't realize that you've essentially just blown off your foot and most of your leg whenever it comes to growing as a streamer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's, you know, I think that's something that's people don't really realize, and you know, like you're saying, you know, people want the best quality, but at the same time, those usually aren't the streamers or aren't the people that are gonna consistently come back to you. You know, the people that are like, I want the 1080p stream, they might be just people that are popping in. You know. I like your idea on that. Like, just try to get everyone together. Don't try to blow your foot off, like you said. It's
really a big balancing act between quality and accessibility.
Okay.
And whenever you're trying to grow, until you get like transcodes or partnered, even after you get partnered, really, you want your accessibility to be as high as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
And Twitch had put out information. It's a few years old now, unfortunately. I'd like it if they put out more, up-to-date stuff.
Yeah.
But they put out a bit of information saying like 90% of viewers can watch at 2,000 kilobits per second without any buffering. If you go up to 2,500, 2,700, there's a massive spike in the number of buffering events.
Okay.
So that's another reason that 720 at 30 is the golden point, is because that'll run perfectly fine on 2,000 kilobits.
Okay, that's good. See, that's information that people need to know, seriously, because it becomes one of those things. It's a numbers game. People don't realize that's a big factor. And it's also a big factor on buying buying the right parts for your computer, because you don't want to overdo it for nothing. There's no reason to buy the biggest and best computer if you're just starting off, because first of all, you might not keep going with it, and you don't want to, spend $5,000 on a computer. I have a buddy who did that. Basically, he bought, a computer that could run 4K just so he could play, he could play games with really nice hair physics so he could see the hair. And I'm like, what's the point of that? What's the point of that, guys? Come on.
Oh, if it makes him happy. But that said, if you do actually have a really powerful machine laying around, there is something that you can do to actually put that thing to use. And that's turn down your encoding profile. Normally it starts out at very fast, but you can go down to faster, fast, medium, or slow. You don't want to jump. You want to try it and test it and figure out where it works. But each step slower will use up more CPU, and it'll make the stream look better.
Yeah.
Because it uses the bitrate more efficiently.
What is your settings at for yours?
Oh, well, mine won't really translate over to anybody unless they have this exact same setup and they're a Twitch partner, at which point they'll probably already know.
Yeah.
Usually I'll run at 1080p at 60 on either fast or medium, depending on how much motion is in the game.
Okay.
Because if you're playing a fast-paced, like first-person shooter, you're going to be incurring more CPU load. If you're playing something fairly slow, just from camera movement and on-screen changes, like League of Legends is very, very, it's very slow. Not much changes on screen at one given moment.
Okay.
You can get away with a slower encoding preset.
Okay. So you'd say for, stuff like CSGO or like Overwatch to do very fast, but for games like Darkest Dungeon, you could go to fast, basically.
You can crank it on down whenever you get something really slow paced like Darkest Dungeon or Hearthstone.
Okay.
Anything like that. But yeah, Overwatch, CSGO, WoW, anything with third person camera movement is generally going to have everything on screen changing very rapidly as you move around.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I see that problem sometimes with myself. Sometimes I will set up like a my profile for my encoding, and then I'll have encoding errors and stuff like that, and then I gotta go back in during stream and try to change it, or I have to go off stream for a little bit just to mess with it. It's I sometimes I can't find the sweet spot. It gets all over the place, and then one day the sweet spot's perfect, and then the next day someone's watching Netflix in the other room, so it screws everything up.
Yep.
So that's my biggest thing.
If you're using OBS, be aware that the dropped frames counter in the bottom left whenever you're live streaming, that doesn't have anything to do with your machine.
Okay.
That is purely your connection to the Twitch server.
Okay.
It's one of the big reasons not to use Wi-Fi when you're live streaming. It's not designed for high throughput.
Yeah. My computer's actually like it's hooked straight to the router itself, so it should be. I shouldn't have too many issues with that itself, but
you can still have upstream problems is the only issue.
Yeah.
Stuff that's completely out of your hands, out of Twitch's hands, out of your ISP's hands, because everything, it's a giant chain, and whenever one link of it goes bad, that's whenever you start having those dropped frames.
Now, do you use OBS or do you use XSplit?
I use OBS.
Okay. Did you see the Streamlabs OBS collab, and what do you think of that?
I would call it less of a collab and more of a defacement.
Okay.
They break a lot of stuff. A lot of the best parts of OBS, like a lot of the filters, the plugins, the VSTs. VSTs allow you to edit your audio on the fly. All of that's broken in slobs.
Really?
I am not a fan in the least. I will leave it at that.
Yeah.
No,
it's understandable.
Avoiding harsh language.
It's all understandable. No, I've been testing it out just to see what it's like. I kind of put it through its paces this morning when I was looking at it, and I'm like, the only thing I don't really like about it so far is number one, I can't use my Stream Deck with it, which is frustrating. And the second thing is that on OBS Studio, which is what I use to record this and whatnot, I have you can actually hit the stop and start record button and the stop and start stream button, and that's its own control. But on OBS, Streamlabs OBS, you can't do that. You have to set up the name of the stream, and then it says hit live, and that's it. So I don't understand where they're going, like why they decided that was a thing instead of just giving us the full controls, just like Studio. So I don't know. I feel like it's a mixed bag for that thing. It's nice to have everything in one spot, but at the same time, I can see what you're talking about the small things.
Well, I mean, a lot of it also is I have a casting setup where everything, I've got it in its own spot. It's tiled to fit just right. Everything nests together on screen. So having it all in one program just limits my options. Like I couldn't at that point use Chatty, which I do for logging and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But really what Slobs is trying to do is simplify OBS to make it less scary for people who either are just coming into live streaming or are transitioning over from XSplit. And that's good. I can't really argue with that. It's more the stuff that breaks, like Stream Deck. The reason that's not working is because Elgato has a plugin that whenever you install the Stream Deck software, it automatically installs that plugin into OBS.
Gotcha.
Plugin support is broken in Slobs.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And with the recording versus streaming buttons, again, they're kind of just trying to remove stuff that isn't related to its base core function, which is live streaming in their case.
Right. And that's the thing, is not everyone uses OBS for that exact function. Like I said, this is, this is the way I record everything for my podcasts and whatnot. And it works really well for what I use it for. But it's it's frustrating where they're trying to rip out these small parts, and it's like, just put them back, guys. It's okay. If you put them back, no one's going to be mad, But yeah, I can agree. I was sitting here going, it doesn't work with Streamlabs, or it doesn't work with Stream Deck, and I'm like, oh great, so I can't use it basically. awesome. And then I tried to like do the I have Streamlabs like hotkeys that I set up today, and they work, but at the same time, that's not what I want for my Stream Deck. My Stream Deck is meant for you know, on the fly changes. I don't want to have hotkeys. I want it to become actually controlling the program, not, you know, hotkeying where I had to like, oh, okay, these are the hotkeys that aren't being used on my computer now. And that's an issue. So, have you used XSplit, by the way?
I did briefly back in the day. I found it a little bit too simplistic. It is pretty.
Yeah.
But that's about all that I can really say. As far as I'm concerned, for a single person streaming setup, actual mainline OBS Studio is the best tool currently available.
Yeah.
If you have like a multi-person setup, then you might look at something like vMix.
Okay.
Which is a huge step up in production, but it requires 2 to 3 people to run it.
Okay.
So
is it more like a production studio setup where multiple monitors and whatnot?
I'm pretty sure that like stuff like the Riot esports channels are using vMix.
Okay.
It is definitely more geared toward being like a TV studio style production flow.
Gotcha. Yeah, and see, that's the thing is, OBS is fantastic to use because everyone uses it. The plugins are still active. You know, people are still adding plugins to the website, which is fantastic. I mean, of course, I haven't been on the website in a while, but it works. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, for me, I just like to try out different things. Streamlabs OBS, I wanted to try it out just to see what I thought about it. I've tried the XSplit, not a fan of it. I probably will just stay with with just OBS Studio unless Streamlabs OBS like fixes what it doesn't have. I'm not switching over to it at this point because it's just.
I mean, I've installed and tried out alternates, but yeah, there's. I don't really see any reason to switch. It comes down to, okay, XSplit is OBS, but a little bit prettier, but you have to pay for it, and they might run advertisements on your channel without asking you. Because they did that whenever I was getting started. They ran a corner ad for a fighting game competition, and it got everybody pissed off because, you know, they ran it. Everybody that was running XSplit, the non-paid version, it just popped up in the corner of their stream. And instead of apologizing and saying we won't do that again, their immediate response was, well, it was in the contract, we're allowed. So kind of a bit of a PR gaffe on their part.
That's
it's ridiculous is what it was. They haven't done it since, but still I see no point in paying to access features that I already get for free under OBS and then more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that I think that's, you know, that's a big factor. People, you know, like I know a couple of streamers that are religious about it's just like Android and iPhone. It's the same type of split. People are like, "Oh, I really like XSplit. Oh, I really like OBS." But it's, you know, there's no people that are like, "Oh, I'm good with whatever." You know, they're religious about one of them. And I can see where that would be a pain in the ass. That would definitely not be okay with me. This is not your time to advertise on my channel. That would be very frustrating.
I will give them points in favor. They haven't done it again since.
That's good, at least. I was going to ask for when you were getting partnered. First of all, how long have you been partnered? That's one big question.
I believe about 4 years. Okay, give or take.
And because right now I'm part of the people that are in the, what is it called, the Twitch affiliate program. What's your view on the fact that there's a affiliate program and then the actual like partner program? Do you like that? Is it all right to you? Like what's your whole view on that?
Well, I think the affiliate program is a step in the right direction. It is definitely a big positive thing. It gets people engaged. It gives you feedback. It says you're doing the right thing. Yeah. And plus it gives people one of the things that a lot of people mostly want for getting partnered is, hey, emotes. You get 3 emotes as an affiliate.
Yeah.
So, it's enough to like get the taste. And if you have like 1 or 2 emotes that you just want to use for yourself, then you can just use them wherever. And of course, you can get subscribers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of is an alternate way to prove to Twitch that you are a good prospect for partnership.
Yeah.
Because it is a business. They got to look at, okay, who can pull in subscribers, who can pull in viewers.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, I don't know this at all, but that if, an affiliate got enough subs as compared to their, concurrent viewer count, that they would take that into consideration pretty heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I like the affiliate program for the fact that, like you said, the emotes and whatnot, that's fantastic. I love having my 2 emotes that I use like on a regular basis. The one thing that's crazy to me is the fact that is such a low, at first it was such a low requirement to become an affiliate. So like now everyone's affiliate status level. And I think that, eventually they're going to raise that up, just like they've raised up the partner programs requirements. I think that they're going to do that with affiliates as well in the next year or so. I have a prediction that's going to end up happening, because they're going to see that there's enough affiliates right now where it represents Twitch and they don't need 1 million affiliates. But
it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But I honestly, the partnership program has come down drastically from what it used to be.
Really?
I've been knowing there were at least 2 channels that have been partnered with 50 concurrents.
Wow.
Which is insane. It used to be you had to maintain 500 to 600 concurrents just to get a second look.
Yeah.
And now there's people getting partnered off of, okay, those were outliers, the 50 concurrent. But there are people that are regularly getting considered that are like 200, 150. And those are actual serious numbers that, is the waterline at the moment. It has come way down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule out the affiliate requirements possibly being bumped up, but with how they've been opening up all of the programs, they've been bringing in more people across the board.
Yeah.
I would say that it's probably going to come down. I mean, as odd as that sounds, with how the affiliate program isn't really a high bar to start with, it may still come further down. If, as an opt-in, whenever you create an account, just enough to make sure that you are actually going to be doing something to justify the processing time it takes to put you into their legal payment system and tax system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I would say I like the affiliate program where it's, they're trying to get people into it more, and I like the partner program, but like for what is it, TwitchCon? It became like, oh, you're a partner. Oh, you're like this high on the scale. Oh, you're an affiliate. Well, you're actually just a pleb. Get to the back of the line. And it's like, well, but we're still pushing numbers for you guys. Like, we're still trying. Like, from my front, actually meeting the partners, amazing people. People I've met that are partners, amazing people, and they treat everyone the same. But then there's people like, from Twitch, like actual Twitch level, company level, where it's, there's a clear line. Twitch partners and Twitch affiliates are 2 completely different realms of people, and that's it gets bothersome to me, at least, to see that kind of stuff happen. But yeah, I would like to see. I would hope that one time soon you'd be at TwitchCon for sure.
Well, we'll just have to see. Again, I've got to get the time off work. I got to actually fly on out.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit concerned because I'm actually normally a very, very shy person.
Yeah.
The only reason that I can do what I do every night is because I'm talking to a camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is literally the only thing that I see is a camera lens. And whenever I'm going face to face, if I'm, meeting with 10 people at once, I'm probably gonna just like clam up and shut down more than not. So yeah, but I'm gonna have to cross that bridge whenever I come to it. Whenever I actually do have the time to actually attend, though I might possibly be going to PAX East 2018, maybe. I don't know.
Very nice.
I'll have to see.
Did you hear that they potentially could be putting TwitchCon on East Coast this year?
I did not.
Yeah, they were talking about the fact that it could potentially. I mean, this is all rumors, but the rumor is that it's going to be on East Coast possibly, and if they do it on East Coast, it's going to be either in Chicago, New York, Philly, Boston, and I think they said Raleigh was one of the other places. I like the idea of all those places because they're all fantastic places, and I've been to almost all of them already. But if you had to choose out of those ones, which one would you choose most like you would most likely to go to?
Oh man, that's actually a pretty hard call. I mean, if I was attending them, any one it would be fine by me. If I was looking at it from an event coordinator standpoint, the only two out of those four would be either Boston or Philly.
Okay.
Because New York is a logistical nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
Just getting, I was working as I said, network engineer, and some of our events that I had to work were in New York, and they were not fun to deal with from an infrastructure side of things.
Yeah.
And with TwitchCon, it is an infrastructure heavy convention. Pennsylvania, I know that they have a lot of the requisite stuff in place because there are a lot of conventions that take place in Philly.
Yeah.
Plus, hey, cheesesteaks. What do you want?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if they actually have an East Coast office, because that's going to be another consideration that they'll probably have.
Yeah.
Is getting their staff to con. That I'm pretty sure is one of the reasons that they've stuck with California for this long, and why it kind of feels a little bit unlikely that the East Coast rumors would end up coming true. They might do a fragment like TwitchCon 2, kind of like HDQ and SUDQ do.
Yep.
But I'm not sure that they would actually move actual mainline TwitchCon out of Southern California.
Yeah. The two reasons why I mean, this is what at least I've heard with TwitchCon being in California is because of tax breaks and all that stuff. I want to say that they have an office in Chicago. That was the only place that I'm pretty sure that they have an office. So out of all those places, if they do it, Chicago would be fantastic. I'd do it. I would most definitely go there again. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that they eventually start doing Twitch like you said, Twitch East Coast, Twitch West Coast, or just like PAX South, East, West, and North or whatever. They're gonna have to eventually, because like last year's was, it was like 70,000 people deep for like 3 days. It was insane.
I didn't even look at the numbers because I didn't get to go. I didn't want to depress myself.
Yeah, sorry.
No, not at all. I would actually say that Chicago might be an option. I mean, Chicago actually sounds a little bit more plausible now that I think about it. If you follow any kind of network infrastructure stuff, a lot of the U.S. backbones run through Chicago. Yeah. So it would be very likely that Twitch would have an office there, would have a staffing presence there. And yeah, no, that could actually happen. So yeah,
I would like that for sure. Chicago is definitely nice, and it's got a good nightlife. Like if you go out and drink and whatnot, you can, or just go out to eat. You have enough places to go out to eat, and that's a fantastic part about it. I think that's things that they actually look at. They don't want to send their people to all these places and then they don't have places to like go out afterwards, because not everyone's just there for the con. But I'm going to get you out of here so that I can head to bed, because I got work in the morning and I'm sure you got stuff to get doing. So if you could shout out your channel, shout out whatever you want to shout out, and I'll pop it up on the screen at the very end.
Awesome. Well, let me just say thanks for having me, and sleep well, man.
Thanks.
Yeah. The Twitch channel is twitch.tv/FerretBomb. Twitter is @FerretBomb. And the community Discord is discord.gg/FerretBomb. It's pretty easy to find.
Awesome.
About it.
Awesome. Thank you again, seriously, for popping on and being able to chat. Hopefully your car troubles are all good now. And, you know, and like I said, I will most definitely send you all the information about this once we're all done. So
cool. Sounds good, man. Thanks much.
Okay. Thank you again for having the time to chat.
Cool. Catch you later, man.
All right. Bye-bye. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching this podcast. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed that talk with FerretBomb, hit up his social media, please, and thank you guys. And if you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so that you guys can check out more videos when they pop up, and you'll be first notified for it. If you guys haven't already followed his channels, like I said, follow those up. I'm going to put those in the end card. I'm going to put those down below. I want to also thank my sponsor. My sponsor is Audible. Audible is an amazing audiobook source with over 180,000 books on their collection and growing. If you guys want to check out Audible, you guys can do that on me. Check out www.audibletrial.com/SYB for a free 30-day trial of Audible, and get your first audiobook on me. Like I said, it's a great time. I'm going to be waiting for my next token so I can get an amazing new book. I read Ready Player One, and I've read a couple of the Gary Vee books, and I'm waiting on his next book coming out. So like I said, guys, check that out. I'm going to have the link in the description. Check out all my other social media as well down below. And if you guys like this video, in the end card, I'm also going to put the link to all of the videos for the rest of the podcast for Bladecast. Check those out, and thank you again for watching. I highly appreciate this. That's it. Peace out, blades up, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Thanks again for watching. Peace.